Alright, Jules. So here we have my amazing car. Look at this car, it's absolutely beautiful. What we're going to be doing is setting up a system of uh, offset like groups basically that we're going to constrain to a particle goal on the top here. And that's going to drive some jiggle with this car. And it's going to be very fun. Let's do it. So here's my awesome cube, my awesome car body. Let's just call it body. And I'm going to group it 4 times, right? There's going to be the front offset, there's going to be the back offset, there's going to be the left offset, and the right offset. It doesn't particularly matter what you call them, just as let you know that like these are supposed to be like offset groups, basically. So let's just hide this for a sec. So the front is going to be where you'd expect the front pivot point to be. So let's make it the bottom front part of this car, all right? And it's only going to be rotating in the X. How much of rotation depends on how realistic you want. It's really cartoony. You can make it go all the way here if you want. I mean, it's up to you. And that you'll see what I mean with like the when I get into the actual like controlling of the object. So the back is going to be at the very back, obviously. The left is going to be at the very left. Oops. And the right is going to be at the very right. Cool. So the right pivots at there, left pivots at there, back pivots from there, and front pivots from there. Awesome. So now we're going to have um, a locator that's going to be aim constrained to all these different offset groups. So, but first let's make some goal particle follow shenanigans. So put the sphere up here. This can be any object, but I just like using a sphere just because that's nice. Let's freeze the transformations. Okay, so that's just it's going to be above the entire hierarchy. It could be as high as you want. It could be like here if you want. It doesn't really matter. Now we're going to use. I'm using 2016 by the way. I don't know how you do this in 2017. It's probably very similar, but I digress. End particle tool right here. You're going to make a particle. This particle is going to, instead of being points, it's going to be a sphere, right? And you're going to have the sphere is going to be goal, like particle goal, this guy, to the sphere we just made, right? So something useful to do is keep it when you actually make the particle goal, you put it at the very top. I swear this makes sense to me. Just bear with me for a second here. Yeah, so you have it basically inside so that it's going to start. There we go. So it's going to start falling from where it is now. So it'll kind of go down, like it'll bounce like this, right? And that's how you get the jiggle, basically. It'll make sense once I show you what I mean. Okay, so now we have particle, we have the geo that's going to be constrained, like goal constrained to it, or I don't know what it's called, goal effects to it. Now we need the locator. So this could be anything as well. I just choose a locator. It's probably very simple to use, and you can see it nicely. So let's pull up the connection editor. Oops. And display shapes because we need the shape of this particle. Okay, so the particle shape is going to be on the left, and the locator is going to be on the right. So not the locator shape, so not this guy, just the regular locator is going to be here. So the left particle shape, we need the world centroid, which is it's here. I don't know. Try to find it. It's near world position, world velocity. Just figure out where it is with yours. And then the locator is going to be the translate is going to be connected to it. So wherever the world centroid of this particle is, the the locator will follow basically. So we can turn off shapes now because don't want to mess it up. So now whenever if I press play, this is just going to fall down, but you see how the locator is following it. So now what we need to do is do what I said with the goal particle. So if I do this, it's going to be bouncing up and down like that, right? Which is exactly what we want. So now comes the fun part. I'm going to aim constrain all the different groups. So aim constrain to the front. Let's go back to rigging. So aim constrain the front. All we want is just the axis it rotates in, right? So the axis it's going to rotate in is rotate x, right here, see? Rotate x. Which means it follows that left and right is going to be rotate z. So master, slave. We're rotating x. We're going to be rotating x with the back. We're going to be rotating z with the left. And rotating z with the right. So watch, I'm going to press play, and then the entire part is going to move down like that. Isn't that something? Ooh, cool stuff, man. Anyways, so that's all well and good. Now let's make it move. So I have here, let me just rename all these. These are just wheels, basically. So like, I'll just call them wheel, geo, and then, oops. So wheel geos, right? And then we're going to have a world like move of this entire rig. Obviously, this is not complete. I'm just trying to demonstrate this just for everyone to know what this is all about. Uh, you never want to scale controls. You always want to scale it from the component mode. That's just another rigging thing. See, the scale is 1 and it didn't do anything. Awesome. Okay, so let me just call this world control, and let's group that just for fun because that's good practice to do. Okay, so just because I'm lazy, I'm just going to be putting all this stuff underneath my world control. Whoops. Right? So as this moves, everything moves basically, right? But you can see that right here, nothing's actually, it's not being, it's still aimed to the locator, right? Nothing's actually, like it's just going to be looking all crazy and stuff. What you actually want to do is have the sphere follow it as well. Okay, so this is not the particle. This is the geo. That is it's gold. The gold. I don't know. The particle is golding. Just you know what I mean. The particle is following the thing. Okay, so as this is moving, and then the goal is just going to follow it. Okay, so let's make a little stupid animation. So I'll just key this here at 1. I'm going to move it forward a little bit. Let's go to frame 30, move it forward a little bit, and then key that, and then move it back to 50, and then move it back a little bit. Okay, cool. So if I play this, watch what happens here. Let me just show you a little bit easier. Okay, cool. So this is just another easier way of making it so that you don't have to actually, manually rotate this at all. It's all just the goal that's following it, right? And if you want it to be more cartoony, you can go into the particle. Let's close this stuff. Sorry, the particle attributes, go to the shape, and you can go to the, where is it, goal weights and objects, this guy here, right? And the more you smooth it, so that let's say it's 0, that means that there's going to be no goal at all, it'll just be flat, basically. If you have it like a crazy high number, it'll just be going all over the place, right? So that's way too much. You want to add it to about maybe like a 2 or a 3, so like let's just say 2, what that looks like, right? So a little bit more natural, maybe. It depends how cartoony you want, as I said, right? Um, right, so let's just make this animation more like jumpy. Let's make it here, and then let's put the, whoops, let's put this like crazy here, and then make the like, it'll suddenly go back to here basically, and then just like go forward a little bit as well, right? So that'll be like, see? This is another good way of saying like, oh, I'm gonna move the car forward, and this mid part is going to be offset, like the movement's going to be offset. So it's a little bit easier for animators to do. It's a little bit more, um, I guess it's not really like IK or FK controls, so it's a bit more maybe complicated, but I guess you get the idea. So that's my tutorial. If you want me to go into more detail, I totally can. And See you next time.